Hello and welcome to the Mongers,
where we talk about the strange and freakish things in our slice of the world. I'm Christina.
And I'm Quincy. Let's wonder, Monger. Hi, Christina.
Hi.
So this is a watering hole episode, but before we get into that, we should answer last week's question.
Yes.
Which was, based off of Spotify Wrapped, what of your year would you like Wrapped to be able to view analytically? What would you like to see about your life?
A spreadsheet of some sort.
Yes, exactly. With the fun, like, you know how the Spotify does, like, the fun little pictures and, like, breakdowns like that?
Yeah,
What would you want?
I would want steps I took and, like, where I took those steps.
Like, most common, like, oh, you walked to this restaurant.
Right.
6 times.
Exactly.
This past month or whatever.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That would be really interesting.
Yeah.
That would be, but they'd also feel like I have an FBI agent watching me all the time.
That's true.
I want to know how much time I spend on, like, hyperfixations. So like you know,
this.
like this. So, like, how much time have I spent taking in media about, like, Top Gun or Prison Break was a big one for me for a while. Not this year, but in general.
Yeah.
In my life. So, like, how many minutes do I spend taking in not only the original content media, but, like, GIFs or GIFs or whatever you call them, or memes or fan fiction or theory or whatever about the media. I want to see broken down, like, how much time have I obsessed about a specific topic.
That's a really good one,
and
honestly.
I wish I could know how much time, and, like, there would have to be some serious FBI agent in my phone, like, going, like, what, you know?
Yeah.
To know just how much time I spent obsessing about City of Angels and Nicolas Cage.
Yeah, and it's not just your phone, but, like, also your laptop.
My laptop, my computer.
Your TV.
Yep. Somebody's got to know, man.
Right. There's someone out there, and his name is probably Dylan or something.
When we get to the afterlife, Dylan will be there with my spreadsheet. And say, you talked about Tom Cruise on your podcast 87 times.
Why does he show up? Why does he show up in every episode?
I only did that just because I knew you were like, this would be the one episode he won't show up in.
Dislike button. Smash it. Smash it right now. Okay, so.
He just cruised right in there.
He did. He cruised right by. He said, hey, hi, hello, and now he's out because we're going to talk about something else.
Yes, hit me. I desperately want to know all about this because you've been, like, hinting at it, and I have this man's picture next to me as we record, and boy, howdy, those are some eyebrows. He looks stern.
He is focused, I'll tell you that.
Great.
Okay.
Hit me.
All right. The man in front of your eyes is Ludwig Otto Friedrich Wilhelm of Bavaria.
Wilhelm. We have a Wilhelm that works with your husband.
Yeah, that's his last name, but yes.
Yes. Well, so is this guy.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Sorry, the name carried and I wasn't ready. Go on.
He was born August 25th of 1845.
Happy birthday.
It happened a while ago, but happy birthday. He was also called the Swan King or the Fairy Tale King. He was also called the Mad King.
He looks like a swan come to life. I'm not even gonna lie to you. The hair looks like wings. Go on.
I mean, yes, that's part of the Swan King thing, but also, boy had an obsession with swans.
We love it. We love a hyperfixation.
So he was king of Bavaria at a young age when his father died. Ludwig was 18 at the time. He was in power for 22 years before he himself died. So he grew up in a fantasy-style castle. It was built up in this Gothic style, and it had a lot of German heroes in this castle. And one of the big ones was Lohengrin. That was the Knight of Swans. Swans are everywhere. And that may have been where it rooted for him, his obsession with swans. He didn't like things. He was obsessed with things. There was no scale. It was either everything or I could give a shit.
Me too, King.
So once he was crowned king, he ended up extremely popular with everybody in Bavaria. Men, women, children, dogs. It doesn't matter. Everybody loved him. And it was strictly because he was pretty. And that was his thing. Like, he was just pretty. And that's all they cared about, to be honest, because he didn't even care about politics.
Oh.
Like, once he got into power, he literally just rode the line and he didn't really care. However, there was a lot of political bullshit that was going on at the time. And he made choices that weren't necessarily in his best interest at the time.
Okay.
Essentially, what had happened was Prussia and Austria, they were going against each other.
Okay.
And he sided with Austria because he hated Prussia. And that was literally all the things that mattered to him was, I don't like Prussia. My mother's from Prussia. Don't like her. My uncle, he sides with Prussia. Don't like him. And it was literally stuff like that. He bet on the wrong horse, essentially, and Prussia won. Bavaria changed after that to where they weren't an independent kingdom so much so, and they had to follow within Prussian guidelines. And they had to show up for Prussia when they were in war. So because of that, they had to follow Prussian laws, and the Prussian laws kind of bite him a little bit, but not a lot.
Okay.
Like enough to where it's annoying for him, essentially. Basically, he ended up in a lifelong friendship with one woman, Duchess Elizabeth of Bavaria. That was his cousin. That's the only woman that he ended up being friends with.
Friends?
Yes. Just friends. Because he was a very, very gay man.
Yes! Sorry if you're a headphone user. Yes! Yes! We love a gay man!
So...
we need more gays.
Honestly. So...
well, actually, we need more gays in history.
I agree.
Because the erasure is huge. So, okay, I'm living for it now. Hit me.
Great. They were super tight.
A murderer. Sorry.
I actually don't know. I didn't research her. His obsessions were men, and then also, because he actually, like, if there were men in his life, he was infatuated with them. He was obsessed with them. He didn't like things. He loved things, remember?
Me too, King.
So there was that, but also art, music, architecture. Those were his bitches. He loved all of those. The public scene, the social interactions he had to do, all of the political bullshit, not a fan. Just said no and
I ain't gonna shake your hand or kiss your baby.
Right,
I'm
exactly.
gonna go touch this buttress.
Correct. So he didn't fuck with any of that. He just cared about building architectural structures that reminded him of the fantasy castle that he grew up in. Opera, and that was kind of it. Those were his main bitches that he fucked with.
Great.
So...
and Chad down the road.
Correct. Now, he ended up getting a lot of pressure to marry and produce an heir because he's a king of a kingdom, and that's just part of it. And he essentially said no. He was forced into an engagement with his cousin. Remember Empress Elizabeth? Or Duchess Elizabeth, or whatever she was?
I remember Lizzie.
Yeah, her sister.
No!
Yep, and they had nothing in common.
What is the sister's name? Do we know?
Sophia, I think.
Okay, Sophia, get out of here!
The only thing they had in common was there's this one particular...
Please tell me it's a man.
It is a man.
Yeah!
There's this one particular man that created operas, and that was his thing. And it was like all of his works, Ludwig was obsessed.
And Sophia liked them too?
Yeah, absolutely. His name was Richard Wagner, and that is a whole other thing.
His name is Dick. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
It's all going back to being gay. Go on.
Anyway, the Wagner stuff, that is a whole other thing. If you want to do your own research, I highly suggest it because it's so interesting, but I can't, because of time, I can't get into it. There's a lot of stuff that I can't get into, unfortunately.
If you want to hear more, let us know, and we can we can deep dive.
Oh, 100%.
Going on with Ludwig.
But yeah, so he's obsessed with Wagner's works, and so is his fiancée. And that's about all they have. And he said, well, that's not near enough. And he postponed the engagement, kept doing it over and over until finally he just called it off.
Good for him.
He was never engaged again, never married, never had children. And he didn't have any mistresses because women just didn't do it for him.
So did he have misters?
He did, under the cover of night.
Yes.
He, like I said, he was a very gay man. However, within Bavaria and how their laws are, being homosexual was not a criminal offense at all, which was great. However, once Bavaria kind of lost their independence because Prussia kind of came into their lives, Prussia law states that homosexual acts between males is considered criminal.
But not females?
I didn't see females specifically.
We love lesbians. Thanks, Prussia.
I want that on a shirt. Thanks. So he was very into the Catholic Church as well. Very into his religion.
Gay
so
for Jesus.
He was trying his best to stay as closeted as humanly possible, but, you know.
It's not working. Look at that man. I have a picture of him next to me, and how?
I don't know, dude. But anyway, he had a lot of different obsessions. A couple of different men in his life have been them. Another thing.
Me too.
Was opera.
We love a play.
Well, yes. Opera's, yes, and it's also a little different.
Yeah.
But in 1872, he got a little tired of people coming to the opera and staring at him instead of the work. So he stopped going to public showings. He would just do private performances. And within the span of 13 years, 209.
Holy shit.
Private performances.
That's a lot of... One, that's a fuck ton of money. Two, operas are like 4 hours long.
Yep.
Like the original Romeo and Juliet is like 4 hours long. Mm-hmm. The opera version. Holy mackerel, dude.
16.
I want his opera wrapped.
Right? 16 a year.
Oh my god.
Yeah. That's insane.
Which, like... It's like a little over one a month. Like, when you think about it, it's not that bad until you remember they're private and 4 hours long.
Okay, so he had other loves. It wasn't just art and music, architecture. That was another one that he loved.
Me too, King.
Castles specifically, because he grew up in one that was fantasy. So he wanted to make his own. He made several structures. Yes, there are 3 that are like the big boys. I'm not going to talk about all of them. I will talk about the most famous one, though.
Hit me.
Neuschwanstein.
Beautiful.
It's Neuschwanstein in English literally translates to New Swan Stone.
Of course it does.
When he did do these elaborate castles and these places and everything, he ended up actually creating a lot of jobs for hundreds of Bavarians. They were artisans, they were laborers, anything you could possibly think of that is necessary in order to build something like this. The economy was booming. It was great.
We love a unionized king.
Right. So he was doing good work, but that's not what his advisors were saying, essentially. They just saw a guy that was blowing a bunch of money on pet projects. And I'll tell you exactly how much money. Because Neuschwanstein, his most popular one, 6.2 million German gold marks. You don't know what that means, though. So I'm going to tell you exactly what that means. That is 47 million euros, which is $51 million in today's money.
51
one project.
$1 million.
Mm-hmm. And that
there better be flying buttresses. If there are not, I'm gonna be so mad.
The estimated cost was half that amount. So to his credit,
it's like DIA.
To his credit, he didn't anticipate spending that much.
Okay.
However, I've been in this castle twice.
Ooh.
It's gorgeous. It is so nice. However,
it better be for 51 million.
Right. This man fucking loves swans. Fucking love them. Like, they're everywhere. They are literally in every room. And it's insane. So Neuschwanstein was actually supposed to be his fantasy getaway. He only lived...
My summer home. 51 million on my summer home.
Actually, another one of his places was his summer home.
Oh, no.
And that cost more.
No!
Yeah, and I think it was smaller, too.
Full of swans?
No, he was obsessed with French buildings and just the French style of everything. So he essentially...
Fuck the swans, we're here for the French.
He dedicated it to a saint. Or a king, or whatever, I don't know. Some dude that claimed that he was the Sun King, and Ludwig looked at that and said, neat, I'm the Night King. I'm the Moon King.
Me fucking too.
Yeah. But let's see, that one was 8.4 million German gold marks. The previous one was 6.2. I'm not converting that for you. It's so worries. Close, it doesn't even matter. It's kind of stupid.
Over 50 mil. Yeah. For your French Pope summer home.
Yeah. Like, the way this guy spent money is insane. There was one place that he was like, I'm going to make Versailles, but small.
I'm going to make Versailles, but small.
That's literally what he tried to do. And what he would do a lot of the time when he was living in these places, which the big one, Neuschwanstein, he only like lived there for 172 days, period, and then only 11 nights. Your face is doing so many things right now.
1,172 days.
11 nights and 172 days.
11 nights. He spent more time there during the day.
Mm-hmm.
Did not stay there at the night.
Nope.
But he was the Night King?
He was the Night King because...
Brother, you ain't living up to your name.
He would do this thing where he took like sleighs or he took carriages and he would go and take night joyrides around his land.
Of course he would.
And he slept throughout the day for the most part. Unless he had something that had to be done during the day, he was asleep. He was a vampire, essentially.
You too, dude. That's you. If I've ever fucking heard.
Oh no, I have something in common with King Ludwig.
How dare.
Yeah, that's fine.
It's not $51 million, I can tell you that much.
Oh, that's true. Okay, so here's another scary number for you.
Please.
By 1885, this was the year before he died.
Great.
He was 14 million marks in debt. 14 million marks.
He's trying to give the U.S. a run for his money here.
He used up all of his personal funds.
Okay.
And then he went and borrowed money from essentially his family.
Okay.
And any other European royalty that he could possibly find. He begged for loans so that he could build all of his structures. And he's wild about these structures.
And then just proceeded to say, oh, well, I'll die
Pretty
the following year. I don't even have time to enjoy him. I'm going to erect him and die.
Yeah, because he definitely chose that.
I don't know. Tell me, did he?
Okay, no.
Oh.
Okay.
Tell me it was Sophia.
No, Sophia stops being
With
relevant.
a knife in the throne room. I don't know. Keep going. Tell me.
Okay. So he got to a point where his cabinet, the people that are advising him and everything, they got sick of his shit. And he got sick of them stopping him or protesting the fact that he was doing these things. So they were at an impasse where he was thinking about getting rid of him. Just getting him out and getting
Pulling
new
a
blood.
Donald.
Yeah, essentially. Getting the new blood in that would agree with him, maybe. And they struck first, actually. They decided that he needed to be considered legally insane and unfit to rule.
He's really pulling a Donald.
I hate how accurate that is. So they asked Ludwig's uncle, Prince Leopold.
His uncle's a prince.
Yeah, he is. Because he's...
King. Yeah, I know. I get it, but it makes me laugh.
Okay. But they were like, hey, we're going to make sure that this guy's out. And when he's out, you're in. And he's like, neat, I'm in. However, you need to prove without a doubt, make sure that there is evidence that he is actually insane. Give me the proof, and then I'm in. They found something. I won't say it's proof, but they found something.
Oh, hit me with it, please.
They made a medical report.
Oh.
And it's just complaints, accounts, gossip. It's literally whatever they could get their fucking mitts on from all of his servants and all of the people that worked with him. And it was comment cards. And they were like, oh, you know what? You are pathologically shy. Clearly, you're insane. It was stuff like that. And like state business avoidance. Flights of fancy.
He doesn't want to do his job, and he wants to fuck around to be a king instead of actually doing his job. Therefore, he's insane.
Right, mentally unstable. Must be.
I also want to fuck around and not have a job.
Same. I mean, this is kind of it.
Yeah, like this is literally what we're doing right now. We're fucking around without a job.
Right.
But that's not the reason anybody would commit me.
Exactly. Some of the other stuff was like dining outdoors in cold weather, wearing heavy overcoats in summer, sloppy and childish table manners. It was ludicrous things that were like,
a guy.
Yeah, he's just a weird dude. And there's nothing wrong with being a weird dude except for the fact that he had power and he had money and he was using it. And they didn't like how he was using it. So they were like, that must prove that he's insane. Make it happen, doctor. And they did. All of the doctors that signed off on this report hadn't even met Ludwig. Only one of them had actually met him, and that was 12 years prior.
It's like your foot doctor putting in my medical report that she's fucking insane.
Right, exactly.
Because I came to your medical appointment to support you.
Exactly. So when this doctor had actually met up with Ludwig 12 years prior, it wasn't for an examination purpose. It was just to meet him.
Oh.
So he doesn't even have any valid reason to sign off on something saying that he's insane.
Okay.
Yep.
So did this get anywhere? Did he get booted?
Yeah. What had actually happened was there was a commission that came to his castle, came to the gate and said, you gotta come with us. But Ludwig had actually gotten somebody that was a faithful servant that got wind that they were coming, came over to Ludwig and said, hey, you might want to be ready for this. So he had already talked to the police and said, hey, get ready for these guys.
Okay.
So the police interacted and said, you can't be on his land. He said no. And they arrested them, held them for like a couple hours. And then Ludwig was like, let them go. They're just getting in my way.
Charges.
Yeah. Like he was like, they're just a nuisance. Get them away.
Okay.
They weren't going away. And he kind of thought about that beforehand.
Yes.
So he was like, I can at least buy myself some time to figure out what to do. So what he did was he sent a letter to another cousin that he had a semi-decent relationship with.
Okay.
It was a man, also named Ludwig.
Okay.
And he was like, hey, this is going on. I need some help. Can you find me some aid of some sort to get sent my way? And normally that would work if the guy that he sent the message to wasn't the son of Luitpold, who's his uncle.
Oh, no.
Who was trying to get in a seat. So Daddy
Which
said...
would then put cousin Ludwig in line for the throne.
Exactly.
So cousin Ludwig's like, fuck you.
Exactly.
I want the throne, too.
Exactly.
Oh.
So...
Honor to be your...
Daddy said, don't do it.
Yeah.
And he listened to Daddy. So, Ludwig was getting nowhere with that. So he also sent basically the same information to a newspaper, like a local newspaper, saying, send out this notice to all the people in the land to essentially say, there's something wrong afoot and your king is in trouble. Yeah, get me some help. And the government essentially grabbed all of the newspapers and all of the handbills that had been already sent out that had that information, and they just swiped it. So he got suppressed twice. So he figured that he could try and escape. That was an option. And before he got too into the weeds on that, he actually got caught. Like, they came back. Yeah, they came back, they snatched him up, and this time they actually got him and detained him. They brought him over to Berg Castle, which was on the shores of Lake Starnberg.
Okay.
Berg Castle was his summer home.
Berg, B-E-R-G, or Bird, B-I-R-D?
The first one.
Okay.
He's going over there now. Unfortunately, he's going against his will. Like I said, it's basically one of his summer homes. And
I'm detaining you in your summer home!
Exactly. And they prepped the castle to make sure that it was ready for a royal psych patient. They got the doors to be lockable, all of them. The windows were barred. They got spy holes drilled into the doors and made sure there were no handles on the doors.
They took it too far. Jesus.
I thought so too. The very next day after he was brought there would be his last day.
So he really noped the fuck out of that. He was like, oh, peepholes? No handles? I think the fuck not. Time to ascend.
Okay, so June 13th.
Yes.
That's the date, 1886. The psychiatrist that ended up seeing Ludwig 12 years prior,
yes,
that guy was with him the entire time throughout this process.
Okay.
His name is Guden.
Guden.
Bernhard von Guden, I believe is his name.
Guden is not very good.
He's not very good at all. On June 13th, Ludwig and Guden went for a walk. They went up for a walk around the grounds of Berg Castle, and they had like two people to assist them walking to make sure that he didn't do anything crazy. So they went for that walk.
Didn't do anything crazy.
And
dies.
When they come back, Guden says to his colleagues that he's pretty optimistic. We get to later in the night after dinner, which would be 6 p.m. Ludwig and Guden ended up going for another stroll around. But they were
doing the nasty out there.
No.
Aw.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Oh, it's his doctor. It's probably a good thing that they weren't fucking out there. Sorry. I got lost on the fact that it was his doctor and not just a companion who was there to help him get healthy. Go on.
So sorry to disappoint.
It's okay. I didn't mean to make it weird.
That's fine.
As if it wasn't already weird.
But anyway,
After dinner.
they're going on this walk, and they were last seen at 6:30. They were supposed to get back by 8. They didn't show. The staff searched the grounds for 2 hours in the heavy rain, but by the time that 10:30 got there, they found both of the men floating in Lake Starnberg.
Both of them?
Both of them. Are you okay? You look so shocked.
Both of them?
Both of them.
God. They couldn't. Why couldn't they have just been out there being gay? Why did they have to die? Guten. Poor Mr. Guten, or Dr. Guten and my good King Ludwig. Okay, go on.
So Ludwig's watch had stopped at 6:54.
Okay, so that's about the time of death, if murder shows have taught me anything.
Right. Yeah, roughly. So he was 40 years old, and he was officially ruled dead, and it was classified as a suicide by drowning. In fact, the official report from the Bavarian government was essentially Ludwig was insane, and he took the Bavarian people's money to fund his fantasy castles, which wasn't true. The government then took corrective action, took him out of power, but he was so unstable that he attacked his credible physician and killed the man. And when he realized what he had done, he threw himself into the water and died by suicide. And it was such an effective statement that it fooled people for 100 years.
There's no way he killed him.
It's speculation. There's a lot of interesting theories that are surrounding the whole thing. No one was there.
It feels more likely to me that Ludwig was like, if he was actually insane, like, I'm going to kill myself, whatever. And the physician probably went in to try and stop him and drown, trying to stop him.
It's possible.
Or suicide pact? Foul play? There's people following him and drown him? Like,
I have a theory, and it's the most common one.
Okay, hit me with your theory.
First, I need to tell you about a couple of things that are facts, and then other things that might be fact.
Okay, fact me.
Okay, so
fact me. Sorry.
When you look at the autopsy report,
love me an autopsy report.
It says that there was no water found in his lungs.
He did not drown.
He did not drown.
Okay.
Dry drownings are a thing.
They are.
It's possible. 2 in a row?
No.
Not near as
no.
likely.
What is the probability, Hank Green?
1 to 2%, actually.
Oh, thank you, not Hank Green.
Yeah, anytime. He was also a very strong swimmer when he was younger. In his youth, that was one of the only things that he liked to do. So the thought of him actually drowning, especially in waist-deep water, kind of ludicrous.
Yeah.
Now, nobody had actually ever come forward and said that he had suicidal feelings of any sort leading up to that moment. So it's not everything, because people can hide that shit, but that kind of makes me think
it less plausible.
Exactly. Guten's body did have signs of struggle. The only part of Ludwig's body that looked like he did anything to it outside of, being dead was a scrape on the knee. But that's according to the autopsy report that may not have been correct. It may have been falsified.
Yeah. And it was so long ago, who says they were looking for everything that they would look for now?
Exactly.
That you and I are used to hearing about.
Right.
From autopsy reports from the 80s, 90s, and so forth.
Right. Some people say that Ludwig died of natural causes, like he had a heart attack or a stroke, because...
In the water or something?
Yeah, the water was 12 degrees Celsius.
Oh, shit.
That's 53.6 degrees Fahrenheit for
freezing.
The Americans. So it's not unheard of for somebody to go into waters like that and be perfectly fine. But if you have a heart condition that went unnoticed, it's possible.
Yes.
There's also...
And then, so he has heart attack and physician goes, oh, fuck, and goes and tries to save him. And
right. That's a possibility.
Okay.
Like I said, Guten's body had signs of struggle, blows to the head and neck, and indications that he was strangled to death. So either Ludwig did it to him, or there was a third party. And there's nothing.
This man
that
does
is
not
proof.
Look strong enough to strangle another man. This man does not look strong.
I agree.
He looks vaguely malnourished.
Correct. For being a king, he doesn't look like he eats like one.
Yeah,
I think the Bavarian government had a little bit to do with what was going on. The motive why the actual government may have wanted Ludwig dead, you know, we talked about so many things. They were already getting irritated with the guy. He was spending money like crazy, and he wasn't utilizing that money in a way that was benefiting the Bavarian people according to them. Even though it was creating jobs and boosting the economy, they just weren't seeing that. Mm-hmm. They saw him as a problem from day one. He didn't produce an heir. He had no intention on ever making one. Having a child, yes.
Sorry.
He wasn't interested in anything political. He wasn't doing anything politically at all. So he was just sitting there. And that was not the time to be doing that. Like, politically speaking, Bavaria needed somebody to take the brains, like, at all.
The 1800s. What was that? The Civil War? When was the 1800s? I know when they... What was going on in the world?
On that side of the world, Germany was starting to become a thing. Like, a unified Germany. So,
beginnings of World War I? Like, the very beginning when Germany was unifying.
World War I, that was, like, starting, like, the early 1900s, right?
Yeah.
So this would have been about 20 years prior.
Okay.
But they needed somebody to take control because they were starting to form into one big glob when they used to be a bunch of different small globs.
Okay.
And they needed somebody to defend Bavaria, essentially, to make sure they didn't get the raw end.
This might be a dumb question.
I would love to hear your dumb question.
Does Bavaria still exist?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know if it got absorbed.
No.
Okay.
No.
Into somebody else, you know, and it's now all Prussia.
No.
And it is there.
It is a part of Germany. So it's not like Bavaria is just Bavaria, so it's within Germany.
Okay.
However, it's its own section within Germany.
So is it like a German state?
Yes.
Okay.
That's exactly what it is.
Beautiful.
Great. There is a thing. There's a person, specifically. Jacob Liedel.
Oh, Jacobi.
Jacob or Jacob. I'm not really
Jacob.
sure.
It'd be Jacob.
Okay, then Jacob Liedel. He wrote down some shit before he perished.
Jacob.
And he wrote down in his diary that he went to go save the king. And he went to go make sure that the king escaped with a bunch of loyalists that night. He went out to the lake. They had an agreement that he would pick him up and they would go.
Okay.
But then, as Ludwig was getting into his boat, he heard a shot and the king fell out of the boat.
Oh, no.
And Jacob Liedel freaked the fuck out. And he booked it.
Me too, king. Or, me too, Jacob Liedel. Me too.
Right. That is a thing. He also wrote in his diary that he swore an oath to the Bavarian government that he would never tell anybody ever. And he lived up to that. Not on his deathbed. He didn't say it to his wife, not to a priest, nothing.
Okay.
Orally, he was set. He just happened to write it in a diary that somebody found later.
Okay, so he heard a gunshot.
Yes.
From which side? The loyalists or?
From the shore.
Okay.
Which is presumably where Gudin was.
Right.
So, it could have been that Gudin and Ludwig were at the shore, and Ludwig pushed him or something to get out of the way so that he could take off.
Right.
And Gudin saw that and said, oh no, he's getting away. It's going to be my head.
Right.
And he shot him, trying to slow him.
Right.
And he ended up killing him.
Okay. And then how did Goodwin end up dead then?
There's another thing that's out there. Dr. Schließ von Lowenstein, he wrote down somewhere that he had concerns about the king. Dr. Schließ von Lowenstein was his personal physician. So he heard the news that he was being detained and taken out of power, and he was concerned. So he took the trip to Berg Castle, said, where is my patient? And they said, we don't know. He went on a walk. And he was like, that's weird.
Oh, the good doctor.
So he went to go see if he could find him, and he was accompanied by two random brothers that weren't really named very well.
Okay.
And then an
like
artist.
Brutes of some
essentially.
Sort. Okay.
And then an artist that was pretty famous.
Okay.
And they all went and found them down at the lake, but one of them was dead, one of them was not. Gudin was still alive.
Oh.
And Ludwig had bullet wounds and blood coming out of him. Gudin was taking off his clothing to replace it and get rid of as much evidence as he could.
He was trying to cover up the gunshots by just redressing him? Okay.
I don't know.
That's
I don't
a
know.
theory. That's not an actual.
Yes.
Okay.
This is what this doctor says happened. And he said
doctor.
that Gooden, once he saw that people were after him,
Yes.
he took out a syringe and started going after them.
Okay.
No witnesses, right?
Right.
Well, the two brothers that are brutes essentially went after him.
Okay.
And
Went after Gooden.
yes, and strangled him and killed him.
Okay.
And then the artist sketched everything.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Do those exist?
One thing is easy to find. It shows the face. It shows 3 faces. It's pretty easy to look it up. So that exists, and then I didn't see the actual picture, but there apparently is a sketch somewhere where there's 2 bodies just floating.
Oh shit!
As if they had air in their lungs, so they wouldn't have drowned.
Right. Because they wouldn't have been dead long enough for the body to produce the gases and then rise.
Exactly.
There's got to be foul play. So what do you think happened?
With all of that information, that may or may not be correct, because some of this information it wasn't exactly reliably sourced.
Right.
I think the Bavarian government had a lot to do with Ludwig dying.
Outside foul play.
Yes.
That's my vote.
I don't think that Ludwig actually did anything to harm Gooden. Maybe he shoved him to try and escape.
Like, get out, like, go. Like, you don't have to. We got separated. You didn't see this.
Right. So that's what I think. And I think the Bavarian government tried to cover it up so much
that it just got worse.
Yeah. They have tried to exhume his body, Ludwig.
Where's he buried? Please tell me it's somewhere cool.
I think it's some, like,
I love death tourism.
Cathedral kind of place.
Brilliant.
It's like, it's tradition for him to be buried there.
And he's actually buried. He's not,
as far as I know,
in like a glass coffin like some of the saints are where you can see them still.
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I know his heart or his head, I think it was his heart, got thrown somewhere else because it was tradition.
I love that.
Yeah, so there's that. He died, he got buried. A lot of people are saying, well, if he was shot, couldn't you exhume the body and see if there's bullet holes in the skeleton?
Anymore. Oh, yeah. Or like if he's, Okay.
Yeah. If it hit a bone or something, you could see that impact. You could. But the thing is the family that descended from Ludwig, you would need their permission.
Right.
They're not giving it. And police could trump that if it was not 100 years old. Yeah. If it was actually a criminal case. Otherwise, there's no reason to do that. So as of right now, it's still a mystery, and it will continue to be a mystery, unfortunately.
I vote foul play.
But after 7 weeks after he died,
the
Bavarian government opened all of his castles and all of his palaces and everything for tourists.
7 weeks?
7 weeks.
They couldn't even wait 2 whole months?
I guess not.
Bastards.
But all of the castles and everything, they've paid themselves back for all of the damage that he caused to make them.
Oh,
they have.
People are still touring them. You toured it.
I did. Twice.
Makes me want to go.
It's really cool, honestly.
I also want to go see him if he's available.
I would say you could go down a little rabbit hole yourself and try and figure out where he's buried at exactly.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. You brought me to the watering hole.
Yeah.
Slurp, slurp.
Yeah. So.
Well, thank you for that enlightening information.
Yeah, anytime. We went way over time, and I'm so sorry about that.
It's okay. We'll leave you with, do you think there was foul play involved? What do you think happened to King Ludwig?
All right. Is it suicide? Is it homicide? Is there something else? Was he naturally dying from the water? Was there something else going on entirely? What do you think?
Let us know. Let us know. Until next time. Love you. Bye.
Love you. Bye.